on blast.
And we are live. This is Wrap It Up, the On Blast Raps post-game show. My name is Sheldon Alexander. I'm joined by a couple friends. You know why? Because it's a big game.
Big game.
Big games cause for my team to turn up big as well. I'm joined by Q. Q, what's good? What's going on?
Good. Get this win. Let's do it.
Mikey?
My heart rate just came down. Heart rate. My voice is a little raspy, guys. I'm screaming.
Raptors fans,
It was
what
worth
is
it.
your heart rate like as
Yes.
well after that game? Overtime. Raptors win in OT 131, 128, sorry. 131,
113 would be nice.
131, 128. Kawhi Leonard, 37 points. Kevin Durant, 51 points. A crazy, crazy game. But just first thoughts right out the game. For something that was billed as just another regular season game, was it just another regular season game? Q?
Just another regular season game. What is it? It's regular season, right? It's a regular season game.
That's it?
That's it. It's a regular
You're
season
okay?
Game. Yeah, it's right.
You're not that hyped by this win.
No,
You're just like,
regular season.
Mikey?
It's just
This was a character builder.
Okay.
And the reason it was a character builder was because the Boston game, when they went to overtime, like I said on that podcast, that you just knew it was done. You knew they were wiped. In this game, it felt different. It felt like what we said is if you can get back to the team game and think that it's the first quarter again,
Yeah.
with that 5 minutes in overtime, you'll win. Why? Because it was the Durant show versus us.
Yeah.
And the character building for an overtime game against the Golden State Warriors, two-time champs, with minus Steph, it was just something to build on, and it was more than a regular season game.
I can't lie to you. I think this was a big game.
Yeah.
The reason I think it was a big game is because regardless of what Kyle Lowry's going to say, which obviously the day leading up to this was all about Kyle Lowry saying he didn't think this was a big game. It's just another regular season game. We know he doesn't really think that, right?
Yeah.
We know he's just not going to say that because if they lose, then it's Kyle Lowry said they lost the biggest game of the season, right? So I get it. I understand all that. You know this was a big game because why? Kawhi and Kevin Durant came out and balled.
Yep.
Right from
They
the
did.
get-go. You're talking 51 points to 37 points on both just shooting effective
Yeah, great
numbers.
efficient shooting.
These guys were hype. The crowd was hype. The players were hype. The way that Nick Nurse and Steve Kerr used their bench, and by use their bench, I mean run their starters a lot. This was a big game.
yeah.
The way that the Raptors came out, though, Raptors came out gunning early. They were running all over the Warriors. It almost looked like it was blowout time early. I want to know from you, what did you think early on in this game, just in terms of, was it over? Did you think it was over, or did you know Golden State would make a run? No.
We all knew the same.
I knew
Come
Golden
on.
State. I knew Golden State was gonna make a
Yes.
run. I knew KD was gonna come out strong, come out tough. The way the game started, I didn't think it was gonna end up in overtime, a 3-point game. I thought it would have been I thought we were gonna have a double digit, but I knew Golden State was gonna make a run,
Can I?
or a couple runs.
I heard a little thing, and it was a good take, and it was the narrative that Draymond might have been sitting out a bit longer to kind of show Durant, you want to run your own team, this is what it's going to be like. It's not going to be all hoopty-da, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Durant flourishes in this.
No,
You-
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think
he
this team
loves these
if,
types
if,
of games.
if this team had to play like this for a full year, they're struggling to make the playoffs in the West.
No, that I get that.
So
but I think that well, you see, he got 49 the game before, and now he's got.
Yeah.
50. I think that I'm not saying he's not up for the challenge, but I think he loves these types of games to show what
I
he
don't think
has.
so. Because if he loved those type of games, he wouldn't have ran to Golden State to jump on their bandwagon.
Yeah, that's a good
and I'm a KD hater, so maybe that's what it is.
think
I'm a
that's
KD.
what- I think that's what
I
it
won't
is.
even say I'm a KD hater. I'm a KD hater of him joining
Oh,
Golden
everybody
State.
is,
Do
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in this game, you watch him play, and once the Raptors, to me, figured out, listen, force someone else other than Kevin Durant to make a play or to take a shot.
Or Jebko.
Yeah, like,
Like-
Jerebko, the dude we named the Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Who is
Lee.
that guy? Lee?
Damian Lee,
Damian Lee.
my new
right?
favorite player.
Force
Yeah.
any of those dudes to hit a shot, to take a shot, to make a play. That was it, right? And I was surprised it took that long to like double Durant and force someone else to make a play. We saw that like really late in this game. But is there anything you can do when Kevin Durant is going like that?
Nothing.
No.
Nothing.
No. He was hitting everything.
There's
that last
nothing
the
you
three to
can do.
tie it to
He's
go
le-
to
he's
overtime
lethal.
was
He's
was
lethal.
insane.
He's lethal.
Broke hearts.
Can't.
Broke
There's nothing
hearts.
you can do. The best offensive player in the league.
You think so?
By far.
By far. Okay.
By far. He's unstoppable.
I think Kevin Durant
6'11" with a shot, can jump, can handle the ball, can shoot from anywhere on the
Can
court.
pout.
So here's the thing: 51 points on 18 of 31 shooting. That is
Iverson
stupid.
numbers.
Add in 11 rebounds and 6 assists for Kevin Durant. That's a big boy performance.
The 11
And-
rebounds, yeah.
And you gotta think he had Kawhi on him for most of that game.
Yeah, no. He was
Right.
getting his buckets. He was
So-
getting his buckets.
So it wasn't like, he went out and did that against Atlanta.
And they
No.
knew
You know
the
what I
ball
mean?
was going to him, and he were double teamed in
Yeah.
pretty much
I'll
most of the
say
overtime.
this though, yes. Don't get me wrong. Kawhi did get a lot of that as this ad on ESPN blows up in my ear. But here's the thing, right? I'm gonna say that. Don't get me wrong. Kawhi Leonard did put in work, Kevin Durant with Kawhi Leonard on him did put in work, right?
Right.
He got busy. But the big thing when KD really got it cooking, he had 18 points in the third quarter.
Yeah.
And that's really when the run came and Kawhi came back to start the fourth.
Right.
But don't worry. Everybody got some of that 51 for sure.
No, for
Everybody
sure.
got some.
I'm not putting it on. I'm not putting it on Kawhi. I'm just saying that he didn't just go do this against the Atlanta Hawks.
True.
Right. He did this against a good team.
Yeah.
And a very good
defensive
defender,
team,
right?
yeah.
Which is
'Cause-
why I'm saying that he is the best offensive player in the league.
Which, to further my point, was why I'm saying, instead of Draymond saying that, he relishes in this type of environment. Now, yeah, he went to Golden State to win championships, but I still think when it comes down to KD, preference-wise, he doesn't care. Like,
He
it's
doesn't
the
want to
KD
do this
show.
every night.
He doesn't want to do this every night. Of course not. But in nights like this on TNT, game of the week, maybe game of the month.
I think it's one of those. He's one of those guys that he needs that extra chip on his shoulder. He needs somebody to say something bad about him. He needs.
Yes.
He almost reminds me of like a Marcus Stroman, where he kind of looks for controversy and uses that
Yeah.
as to motivate himself. That
Yeah.
That's
he's
a good
one.
point.
He's one of those guys that needs that, right?
Can we?
So
Yeah.
going up against a LeBron, going up against a Kawhi, and when you start hearing, oh, this is going to be a good matchup, he needs that to push himself to be the Kevin Durant that he is.
So a couple of things here, right? This game, to me, the beautiful part of it was you're talking about how great KD was, but watching the battle of Kawhi and Kevin Durant, like just go at each other
Back
and to me guard each other.
Yeah.
That again, and I talk about it all the time, the difference between all stars and superstars. That's what to me was so dope to watch.
Yeah,
Two
definitely.
big time, top 3, top 5
Top five
players at
guaranteed.
least.
Yeah.
Top 5 players at least.
Of course.
But watch them like go at each other, and it's why I'll always put these guys over a guy like Steph Curry, which is an argument for another day. But I'm saying when you guard your position as well,
Yes.
Yeah.
puts you above
There
some of those other guys.
there was
right?
never a time where both of them were on the court where they weren't guarding each other.
They were going at each other, and that was
And that's-
amazing to watch. Right?
You don't see that a lot in today's NBA.
As a basketball fan, that was super dope to watch. The
Yeah.
fans in attendance got to see like a
Great game.
great game, a great
Yep.
performance by both of those guys. And it's weird because if Durant doesn't do that, they get blown out, right?
out.
On the flip side, you look at the Raptors, and they got a great performance by. I'm gonna just start calling them this for sure now, but who I'm saying is a definite Eastern Conference All-Star, Pascal Siakam. In this
Spicy
game,
P.
career high 26 points on 8 of 10 shooting. He was huge for the Raptors down the stretch. Not only
He
hitting
started
big
7
time,
for 7.
right? But what impresses you the most? I'll start with you, Mikey. What impressed you the most about Pascal's game, especially in this game, a
Yeah.
big time game against Golden State?
Well, the free throws at the end. Clearly, it seemed like he was the one shooting in the last couple minutes. And again, it's regular season, but making those clutch free throws as a young player, he's still a young player.
sure, 1000%.
right? Against Golden State, the pressure at home, those are big free throws to get you up by the
Ice the game.
4-5 point mark, right?
Yeah.
So to me, that was the turning point for his game
For-
tonight.
For me, it was not the scoring, because like I said, he was 7 for 7 in the first half. Didn't miss a shot. He was effective, hitting threes, everything. And then they went away from him. He didn't take a shot for
It went to the
maybe
Kawhi
all
game,
or
yeah.
most of the third,
this,
but you still notice him on the court.
Yeah.
Whether it's him bringing the ball up off a defensive rebound, pushing it,
Defense.
playing defense. Right when
Just
Kawhi
getting in front of the shots, right?
right
He's
when
so
Kawhi was
long.
when Kawhi was
Yeah.
off, he was the one on Durant and like let's forget that Durant had 51. That was a hard 51.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Right?
He
That was a
overtime,
hard
yeah.
50.
needed overtime
Like
to
he
get it,
shouldn't he shouldn't make those shots.
Yeah, 31 shots.
That
Right?
3 Durant hit to
At the
send
end?
it to overtime, like basically that
It's
game tying
ridiculous.
3 that he hit over Kawhi, that was a ridiculous
Yeah.
fadeaway
There's two
3
people on
in the
him.
corner.
It's crazy.
Kawhi contested that as best as you could without fouling him.
Yeah.
Durant balled out. And as much as, I ripped Durant for jumping on the bandwagon and all of that, this isn't the bandwagon, right? This
Yeah.
is just him and Clay
This
and a
is
bunch
him.
of who he played for all-stars.
And Clay was quiet. I mean, Clay I think he ended with 23. He hit some timely shots,
He
but
had his moments, yeah.
it wasn't,
Yeah, it was kind of like ISO
Yo,
for
it was-
KD all day.
Yeah.
Really,
Well-
and Jepko, the feeling, Jepko,
Jerebko, yeah.
Jerebko.
Yeah. So 51 for
He-
KD.
he actually played pretty good.
51 for KD, 23 for Clay, 20 from Jerebko. No one else in double digits for Golden State. It's
I
crazy.
like the minutes they got from Damian Lee though.
Stop
I
this.
think those were those were.
This guy was
An
wild. I was like, who
ongoing,
is this guy?
ongoing-
This
No,
guy
I'm
was
telling
all
you,
over the
I'm
place.
telling you,
Karate
with the
Kid.
hair and
The salon dreads.
the salon dreads, I'm telling you, he's the freshie in the
Let's
gym,
start a GoFundMe thing.
and he just runs. You know those guys that they just run, they're sweating everywhere,
dribbling high.
they're dripping all over.
They're fouling you a little
Yeah.
too hard. Yeah,
Yeah, he's one of
He's
those
all over the
guys.
place.
The
And
one where he went end to end, got
in
blocked.
crunch time. Hold on. What in
Yeah,
crunch time? How's this guy shooting the ball in crunch time? But this is where the Warriors are right now without Steph Curry and without Boogie Cousins will come back at some point. But
Steph looked fine hopping on the bench going
Yeah, he-
crazy.
there's 2 things I want to get to. There's one I already forgot about. Well, it was off of the point that you were just making. I totally forgot what it was. But so you said Steph Curry. Steph Curry didn't play in this game, but they said he's going to play on Saturday.
Yeah,
If you ask me, I think that they're ducking the Raptors.
of course.
With Steph Curry. Like that was
This-
a blatant.
this
Like
was-
he
this was
could have
a-
played tonight.
this
Did
was
Steve
different-
Kerr
but they're
not?
ducking the Raptors.
This
Did
is
he
the old
not
San
say-
Antonio. This is the old San Antonio move, right?
Did he not say he doesn't want to show his full weaponry?
I didn't. I don't know if I said. I didn't.
I
he could
don't-
have.
not have,
right?
but
But-
he
could
right?
have,
Because
of
course,
Steve
Kawhi,
Kerr learned a little from Popovich, right? Like,
course.
This is one of those. The game doesn't really mean much in the grand scheme of things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
For Curry would be complete. Not that he's not going to get as amped for any other
Yeah.
game, but he'd be amped up for this first game back against Toronto, and everything, and he might outdo himself more than he would. You want to
Yeah.
ease him back.
Yeah.
Right?
It's one
You're
of
not going to
it's-
bring him back into a
It's one of those.
prime game.
It's one of those games where you're coming in. If they beat the Raptors with a full squad, it's Golden State.
Yeah.
Right. They're the favorites to win anyway. It's right. The Raptors don't. They don't look bad losing to Golden State's full squad, right?
No, you're right.
Whereas if the Raptors now run them, now
can always
Golden,
say,
now
yeah,
there's issues, right?
Yeah.
Right. If the Raptors run them and then Draymond and KD are arguing on the bench and,
Yeah.
and Clay's not having, Steph's not having a good game, and then it becomes a story.
You know what I took away also from this too, again, and it's like, yay, they won, but we let such a big lead evaporate again down to go into an overtime game.
So here's the thing.
And we knew it was going to happen, yes, but when you go out and you ball in the first quarter, and I get that. In a game like this, the home team usually has most of the energy, and they get like that. But when you let 14 to 16 point to pretty much an average of 12-point lead for a majority of the game go down, and 10 points with about 4 minutes left, I think. Do you think is it a problem now? Because it seems
don't
like
think
it's
so.
consistent.
I don't think it is. And you know what? I'm going to credit Matt Devlin for this because he brings this up every other game or so, right? And he talks about how just the way that the game is played now in terms of how fast paced it is and how many threes people shoot now.
Yeah.
12-point leads are nothing.
Yeah, you're right.
Right? Like
Yeah.
you can erase a 12-point lead with 2 stops
It's
and
a game
2
of
threes,
runs. Yeah.
Yeah.
right? And so runs happen so quickly in this NBA. The pace of play is so crazy in the NBA.
Yeah.
And then add in the fact that they have Kevin Durant, who might be the ultimate.
And they're getting
cheat
all the
code.
foul calls.
Also true.
We'll get to
And I
that.
think-
But
I
it
think-
was, hold
and I
on,
think-
what did Jack
yeah.
say? It was like a 10-point lead with 4 minutes left.
minutes
With 4 minutes left.
Durant comes down the court, hits that three over
They won
Kyle,
an
which
8-0 run.
what's Kyle gonna do? You can't do much over that. And then the three hit over, like you
Yeah,
can't.
They won in an 8-0 run. They were
Nothing
down
you
by
can
2,
do
yeah.
with that, right? And
But
so,
I think what I'm going to say is I think Raptor fans have to realize that we're at a point where the regular season doesn't mean much.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's still early, right? Nick Nurse is still experimenting with lineups and who can play with who and how many minutes should the bench be in and how much minutes can the right?
for sure, because you were
So-
talking as well about. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go on.
Yeah, right. So what it is I think that these games to end up, yes, we went out on a big run and we had the big lead, but they came back. But it comes like you have to win these type of games.
Yes, that's why I said
to
the
be
overtime was
effective
such a good
to be
character
effective in the
booster.
playoffs.
Yes,
because
the
in the
overtime was
playoffs,
big.
in the playoffs,
These
you're-
are going to be the type of games
even
you're
if,
going to
even
play.
if you do get up 15 on Golden State,
It's gonna be
it's
a
going to be a
closer game.
2-3
Yeah,
game,
exactly.
2-3 point game at
Yeah.
some point during the night.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to take that
Yeah.
blow and fight back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
for sure.
And still come away with the win. So I think when May and June comes along, this game will mean more than those games where the Raptors just win by 25.
Yeah.
And
1,000%.
You know,
1,000%.
Lorenzo Brown's playing 20
Yeah.
minutes a game.
Yeah.
and,
Totally
right?
agree with you. Let's get some comments from fans here. Again, if you're watching live, you can always watch live on Twitter at Shell Alexander. Click the box there. You end up in Periscope where you can add comments in on the side. Same thing on Instagram at Sheldon Alexander. I'm just going to read a bunch of comments here. We got one person on Instagram saying, "What a game." Another comment, "Yo, my heart, man." I guess that agrees with you, right,
Yeah.
Mike?
Came with me.
Are you okay now? How are you
I'm
feeling
fine
now? You
bro.
good? Calm down a
I felt a
little.
little lightheaded. I'm not even joking. I felt lightheaded. That game was
Yo,
crazy.
real
man.
talk, behind the scenes, we were
We
fired
were
up
going-
during that game.
My
Oh, for
hand is
sure.
still stinging, bro.
sure.
I apologize. I'm like, oh, sorry, man. Am I yelling too
I'm
loud?
like, there's no need to yell, man.
Raptors
no,
fans,
I was
Raptors
like-
fans.
I was
This
like,
was the game we wanted. Listen. But we're gonna
No,
go back
no,
to
do
the
your
comments.
thing, do your
This
thing.
was the game we wanted, guys.
it's a great game.
And you couldn't have scripted it any better. It
Yeah.
worked out. The overtime, everything. It just Kawhi versus KD. It worked out perfect.
Mikey was
Silence no
high-fiving.
more,
Mikey was
like we said.
apologizing for high-fiving. I'm like,
Yeah.
why are you apologizing, man? We're watching ball. We're hype. That was a crazy game. More comments here. Got another person saying we survived. Another one. This is a long one. I should probably read this before I read it aloud. But here, anyways, here's what the game breaks down to. If Raps win, well, Golden State didn't have Curry and Green. If they lose, then the narrative goes the way of the Raptors can't be taken seriously.
Yeah.
mean-
Basically.
Yeah, I mean, and that goes towards what Kyle Lowry was saying earlier. This is a regular season game.
But the KD scoring 51 kind of helped the Raptors. Big game.
For
They
sure.
Still, right? You know what I mean?
Do you know what it was too? You're right about about KD going for 51. To me, that highlighted this game where if you're gonna go and talk about Kyle Lowry, which is what I was gonna bring up earlier,
Right.
boom, pop back in my mind. Kyle Lowry, right? We were talking about in overtime. The Raptors got going early when Kyle Lowry's making plays.
More like a team ball.
Kyle
yeah.
Lowry's driving in the lane.
Yes.
He's finding Surge in rhythm, jumper, bam. Kyle Lowry driving in the lane, found Siakam, easy too. When they stalled, it was just, okay, give it to Kawhi. And Kyle just got out of the way.
It felt like the Boston
And-
game
and-
at times.
You know what it felt like? It felt like last year's old Raptors.
Raptors
In the
with
playoffs, things
DeMar.
break down, and Kyle's just like, okay, which can't happen.
No.
Right.
You got too many good
And I think-
But we
players.
and I
got
think-
Kawhi.
And I think,
Right? And that's
and you're
scary.
and,
Pascal
and you're right,
Serge,
and you're
and
right,
Danny hit a good
and you're
free,
right.
like,
But
yeah.
Kyle also wasn't hitting shots in the game.
No.
So when
He
you
hit a
now
couple big ones, though,
he
but
did,
yeah.
he did hit some at the end.
He hit one big
but
shot,
he
yeah.
wasn't.
One big shot.
His shot is not on right now.
No.
So when you have that, and now he's playing off the ball, right? In I guess the 2 guard position, he's not effective,
Yeah.
right?
I know what you're saying. I know
You
what
know what?
Whereas
You know what?
whereas you put the ball in his hand, and he's now running the offense
Yeah.
and getting people
And
involved.
we said
Exactly.
he's effective.
We said that you got to get back to the team ball. Also, another thing that I found effective, and I said it to you too, because Sheldon always makes, well, he made a statement in the last couple of games that Kawhi is playing on both ends of the floor, and he's also getting the defensive rebounds. And at the time, I think Kawhi had 3.
Yeah, we were talking
And it
about how he
was
only had
4
3 rebounds.
consecutive defensive
Rebounds. Kawhi,
rebounds
Yeah.
Kawhi did
Yeah.
within the 3 to 4 minute mark,
Yeah.
which was huge. Now, that brought it to overtime. Yes, I get he didn't win the game, but it might not have been in overtime, right? Because
Yeah,
the way
for
KD
sure.
was playing. So that again was a massive, massive thing.
And the thing too
for
with Kyle
Kawhi to
Lowry,
do,
right?
Besides his 31 points, or how do you make it? 37. Or,
Kawhi finished
Yeah.
with 37.
37.
Yeah.
37, yeah.
The thing too with Kyle Lowry, right? The start of the game, I keep saying this. To me, Kyle Lowry is the most important guy on the Raptors team because
he runs
he
it.
gets Serge going.
Pascal.
He
Yeah.
gets Pascal going. He gets them easy baskets, right? When he's moving the
Yeah.
ball, Danny Green's wide open. He's hitting threes.
Kawhi's not cutting in.
Kawhi's gonna cook
No,
regardless.
yeah,
I still keep
exactly.
saying Kawhi
Kawhi's a
doesn't
free,
know the plays.
free dribble. Yeah, exactly.
Kawhi still
He's
doesn't.
just gonna get
You
better.
can watch, okay? And I wish, like, again, in a perfect world, when we're big time, we'll have highlights and you show it, and I'll diagram it out.
Yeah.
But you watch the Raptors game, right? They're running plays at the top of the key, and it's dribble handoffs between the two other guards running around the screen. The
Right.
third guy is supposed to follow up and come through and get the ball, and Kawhi's always just standing there. He doesn't know the plays yet.
No.
But he's cooking regardless,
He's
right?
doing the
Right.
San Antonio plays. That's why him and Danny Green are meshing
Oh,
so
that one
well.
play, that one, yeah.
Even what
You
Jack
called
even
that?
said,
Yeah.
San
There's,
Antonio.
there was one play where there was like
down the stretch.
It was a
The fourth quarter.
it was a 2-man game. Carl was wide open. Siakam was in the corner, wide open. Serge was calling for the ball under the basket,
Yeah.
but the ball went from Kawhi to
Right to
Danny
Danny.
Green, back
To
to
the net.
Kawhi to Danny Green for the 3.
Yeah.
They just said, "Sorry, Toronto, this is how it's done."
Yeah.
And we're going to
I
show
think
you
that was at the end
we're
of the
gonna
fourth.
we're going to show you the
Yeah.
San Antonio way of
I think that was
way
at the end of the
basketball.
fourth, and
Yeah.
Danny Green hit massive threes. But again, this is a thing where Kyle's right. Cool, regular season game, but let's be serious for a second. Danny Green and Kawhi have been in battles against Golden State,
Yeah,
right? When they
of
see
course.
those jerseys, it's go time, right?
Yeah.
It's let's go. Those guys weren't worried at all. When you look at some of the other guys for the Raptors tonight, like the bench kind of struggled.
Yeah.
OG, nowhere to be found. Freddie had a really bad game. Freddie with 0 points. He was 0
points.
for 3. The bench didn't really play that well. DeLon might be the only guy that played well.
He hit a couple
JV, I
good
know he
threes.
had 12 points, but JV's really making me mad with his missed layups.
Yeah.
Dunk the ball.
Dunk
Finger
the ball.
finger rolls.
You have the ball in the paint.
7
dunk
foot
the ball.
7
JV.
foot 290 finger roller.
Yeah,
I just
it makes no sense. Let me get some more comments because there's a lot of comments. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
We
there's
appreciate it a
Joseph
lot.
D wants to know if we think if Golden State had Curry, they beat us for sure.
What up,
or
Joey D.
not.
Coatsworth? I'm gonna say.
Oh, that's Joey. Hey,
Yeah, it's
Joey.
Joey.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm gonna
yeah.
What's
say
up, Joey?
no because
No.
Curry would have taken away from Durant's 51, so it still would have
And
been
I also
kind of the
and
same
I also
thing.
think Kyle also would have.
Played
Guarded
better.
him
played
better.
better.
Yeah.
Played
Right?
better. The other thing, like you make a great point, right? Because part of the thing that makes it difficult for Golden State when they have all their guys, you have so many
many
guys.
players, yeah.
How do you decide who's going when? It's not that easy.
And Clay's very timid, where he'll be like a
Passive, yeah,
passive,
yeah,
where he'll be like, okay, you know
You're
what I
right.
mean? Where Steph's gonna want the ball, and like if Durant got 51,
Mm-hmm.
put Curry healthy in that game. Curry will probably get 20, and Durant will get 31, right?
Plus,
Yeah.
plus now you don't have Iggy in the game.
yeah,
right.
And your boy,
So
Dolly
so
doing
right.
nothing.
So
your
then
boy,
right.
Gunley.
But
Kung Fu.
Iggy plays defense. I think they,
So,
they
yeah,
even
to
had
answer your
Iggy on
question, I mean,
they even
who
had Iggy
knows,
on
but
Kyle, right? But now you have Steph on who
I think it would've
Kyle,
been the same kind of game.
It's a
right?
crazy
Steph
game. Yeah, I
on
think
Danny
it's
Green.
still a
Like
close game.
who's Steph guarding?
Guys, we are in Golden State's
League.
a couple. No.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we are. But we now go to Golden State, where Steph will be in there.
Yeah, by
in a
that
couple-
time. I
in a
mean,
couple
unless he
weeks.
gets hurt
It's a
again,
back
'cause
to
he always
back.
gets hurt.
That here's a quick question. I know it's a little bit ahead, but so going on, we have a back to back, not next week, but the week after.
Yeah.
Clippers, where Kawhi is rumored to go. Golden State on a back to back.
Yeah.
Which game does Kawhi play? Which game does he
Kawhi
sit?
sits in Golden State on the second night of the back to back.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You return the favor. You
Yeah,
just like
exactly.
whatever.
Yeah.
Return the favor. Yep. Let's see another comment here on Instagram. Fired up, all in my emotions. I was hyped, especially early on when they're running Golden State.
Yeah.
And the thing too, it was like the first 20 minutes of the game, and KD got blocked by Kawhi, OG, and Pascal, and
mentioned
I
that,
was
yeah.
so hype. And then KD just went to work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was crazy, but it was an amazing game. Let's see, still scrolling here. This game becomes important only from a belief standpoint, nothing more. Ultimately, this game meant more to Toronto. I guess so. Yeah, I mean, Golden State, what are they going to take from that? KD went ham. You have to respect KD now. Now, this is a dude that I work with, And he's the biggest troll there is. Came into work today rocking a Kevin Durant Warriors jersey and proceeded to get heckled.
Yeah.
It's never that I didn't respect KD. It's just, yo, man.
The move to
Come
Golden
on, bro.
State.
So you can say the same for DeMarcus though, but I know DeMarcus
Yeah.
is playing for a contract, right?
No.
So-
DeMarcus gave the league the middle finger.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
DeMarcus,
yeah.
like everybody else, look at all these guys making 25, 30. Mike Conley making 30-something million, Nicholas Batum making 25 million,
That's-
and then New Orleans tried to give him a 2-year, $20 million a year deal.
And he said no.
So he's right. So of course he's going to say no.
Yeah.
So he went to Golden State to give the league a FU.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, you guys don't want to pay me. I'm gonna just go get my ring.
And now that I bring that up, that mentioned we were talking about this too. They're not deep
No,
at the 5 at all.
they're not.
So they better hope that
no, they're
DeMarcus Cousins comes back relatively
but
healthy.
You got to realize the players they've always had at the 5 spot, whether it be Bogut,
or-
whether
they
it
never
be
play anyways.
Yeah, you're right.
They're not
They had
right.
Iggy in.
I mean,
Yeah.
you could put Draymond in there if you really
Right,
want
so
to.
they're not really there to get points.
They fill minutes.
They're just offensive rebounds.
shooting team.
They're rebounders.
But that's where the
Good
Raptors have an
defense.
advantage, right?
Of course, definitely. If JV would dunk the ball.
So, yeah.
If JV would dunk the ball. Very good point. Yeah, it was weird because like Serge's minutes were down in this game for the longest time.
Yeah.
JV was in there struggling, and we both kind of looked at each other and were like, "Where's Serge?" Which, again, a far cry from years past
Yeah.
for me. I was like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but where is Serge Ibaka in this game? Super crazy. I'm just gonna try to read comments from Instagram and Twitter as well as post game is starting to come in as well. Durant on Drake, quote, he talks a lot of trash on that sideline, so anytime he could throw it back in his face. Drake on the sidelines. It seemed to be touching a nerve with you, Q. Thoughts? Hold on. First, what is happening right now?
I don't.
That's what he
what
was
is- like,
doing
what
when Spicy. That's his. Calm down
just-
myself.
No, I don't. It just
Man, whatever. It's
Yo, Toronto's.
I mean-
Toronto's hype. You know, he just went diamond. I guess he's loved in the city, so I guess he can kind of do no wrong. But for old school me, right? I'm used to like. I
you
mean,
want
like
chocolate there, or like my
but I
Is
want.
that gonna be
but,
better?
when you look around the league, like you see Spike in New York, right? And Spike's a heckler, but you don't
Yeah.
see Spike dancing on the sidelines.
Whoa.
Spike is
Yeah,
giving
right?
Spikes. There's a
What do you-
whole documentary.
Reggie
about
Miller,
Spike,
Spike,
Mil-
yeah.
Spike
Yeah,
Lee
but
in-
I don't know. Maybe it's just I don't know. It just
it's a bit much for you.
it's a bit much for me. A bit much.
Here's my thing. I think it's funny. I think it's fun. I think it also
It's-
throws
it-
off
it is.
Golden
It's-
State,
it's-
like
it's
throws
funny.
off the other guys because it becomes like a thing where they're almost having a game with him, which I
Yeah.
think can work against you.
It has worked against us.
You think so?
I think it has. Well, not this year.
yeah,
Maybe
us,
not
the
this.
Raptors.
Maybe not this year.
No,
but last year's playoffs, I think it.
Oh, with
you know,
LeBron?
I'm just.
LeBron.
That's a different
Yeah,
story.
but
Everybody was working against us last year.
Listen, we don't have to talk about that no more. Okay?
LeBron tells
You know what?
us,
I
"We're
just.
Toronto's
You
done.
know,
we don't need
it,
to bring back those
it might-
memories, Q. What are you
it might.
doing?"
It might just be me. I'm just not a fan of what I see. It doesn't add to my
Yeah.
viewing pleasure.
Okay. I find it funny. I find it hilarious.
It's
because-
it's funny, but it's like corny funny. Like it's like
Okay.
no,
No, I gotcha.
unnecessarily funny. Like it's just sit in your seats.
I'll also
cheer.
give a shout out to my guy. I think that was Sammy Kaz who was beside Drake in those seats.
Yeah.
Someone I gotta find out tomorrow. I should probably message him actually. But if that was you, Sammy Kaz, shout out to Sammy Kaz. That's my guy, Sam Cosentino. More comments here. One from Twitter. Danny Green versus Klay Thompson was a mirror match. I mean, it's interesting because they're like Danny Green is obviously a lesser version of Klay Thompson, right? Like
Yeah.
he's not Klay Thompson.
No.
But they play the same pretty much
He
style
has a
of game.
podcast. Clay doesn't. Yeah.
It's one of those things where like if Clay's having an off game, him and Danny Green are right.
Yeah.
Right, and there was a while there where it was kind of like
Clay was going off for, but I was getting a little
Clay,
nervous. I
yeah.
thought he was gonna pour in.
Clay would hit a
25
shot, and
in
then
a
Danny
quarter,
Green
yeah.
like with lots of time on the shot clock was trying to hit the
Overall,
comeback
though,
three,
you can just
right?
tell by our conversation, guys. They were like, this was a fun game.
Oh,
so
definitely,
much fun.
definitely.
Fun guys,
Definitely.
fun game. Like it just. Do
you know what
We're
it
not even
is,
really
too?
talking about just like the technical. It's just like it's everything around this game.
The Raptors
was
played.
great.
The Raptors in previous years have played Golden State tough, right? They played close games.
Definitely.
Yes, yeah.
But they've
even
al-
in
it's-
Golden State, yeah.
for
They-
sure.
yep,
But
they've
they
always
ended
come
with
up short.
Raptors losses. I think they snapped an 8-game losing streak against
They,
Golden
they
State.
haven't
Yeah.
beat Golden State since 2014.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though, right? Those games ended up in losses, but those games also were games where the Raptors were up and then lost a game.
Yep.
You know, like Golden State made the run in the second half, come back and win. And so again, I know I say it every single podcast. I feel like this was another game where the old Raptors lose, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
And so to see that have a difference, to see like just like, okay, so one guy's going off for 51, one of the league's top players going off for 51, but we have a guy that can do that too.
Yeah.
That to me is amazing. And that's why I keep stressing, enjoy this season, Raptor fans. You know what I mean? Enjoy this season where you're just watching greatness and you can say you're a part of it. And I think this game, come tomorrow, like it'll be all over the US media, it'll be all over everywhere because it was KD and
First. You know what it
Kawhi
reminded
going
me of?
head to head,
Honestly?
and that's crazy. That's amazing.
The Vince Carter, Iverson 50-game playoff. Do you remember that one?
That
Kinda?
playoff series was legit.
In
And this
a
is why-
sense, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like the
yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. It was just a great game, and you're right. It was fun. It was
Yeah,
so much
it was
fun.
so
And
fun,
it was
yeah.
It wasn't even if the Raptors lost somehow. Yes, you would have been mad
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure. You would have been mad. Definitely would have been mad.
Yeah.
But to me, the greater thing is you're on their level. I know there's no Steph and there's no Draymond. I totally understand that. I just think the things that those guys do, the Raptors aren't getting blown out.
No.
No.
They're
It'll
not
be
getting
close
blown
games.
out. And Golden State
And like you
blows
said,
out
the
teams at
Raptors' main core, or Kawhi, he's still learning the system.
for sure. For sure.
So in February, March, April, May, let's hope June, it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a completely more balanced team on the Raptors side.
Mm-hmm.
So you win this game and you're still not at full strength, just like the Warriors weren't.
Mm-hmm.
It's a check mark for the Raptors.
More comments from Instagram. No leads are safe in the new NBA. This isn't the 90s, new style of play.
True.
We talked about that. So true.
Stop hitting on the 90s.
Are Raptors fans scared of a full Golden State squad? We talked about that already. I don't think so. And I think
No.
this game proves it. It just shows that you have, if you really break this game down, Kyle didn't shoot well, as you said, right? Kyle shot, if I bring it up here, 4 of 14 in this game, right? You got nothing from your bench. And we talk about how one of the strengths, the biggest strengths of this team is the bench. And at home, your bench plays a lot better than they do on the road, and you got not much from your bench, and the Raptors still win. So to me, it's not like the Raptors played their best game either. So I'm not worried against a full Golden State
Right.
team.
And with the shortened Golden State bench, Clay or KD, Iggy are always on. One of them's always on, right?
Yeah.
Like the third quarter, KD was on with the bench.
Sean Livingston.
right?
Like their bench ain't nothing. The bench is a bunch
If
of full
it's a
contract
full
guys.
squad,
Yeah.
right, and they sit the bench, they sit their starters down and bring in their bench against our bench, it's
Oh,
a
it's over.
it's a different,
It's over.
yeah.
It's a wrap. But I think too, the way that their team is built now, you got to have two of the. I'm still not counting Boogie Cousins yet because I don't know how that's going to work.
That's the X factor.
I don't know
how
how-
healthy and good he'll be after the Achilles
Yeah. Like, it could-
injury,
and also too,
right?
like even if he is super
and
healthy,
a contract year.
how's he gonna fit in? Right? Like they
Yeah.
play
Yeah.
run and gun up and down. That's not Boogie. Boogie's not gonna run up and down with
Especially
these
not
guys.
coming off an Achilles, right?
For sure. So how's he gonna fit in even if he is healthy? So he's kind of the wild card, right? So if I'm focused on the 4 main Golden State guys, I feel like if I'm Kerr, because of the way their bench is, 2 of those guys got to be on the court at all times, right? So their bench will be better than it is just because of that, I think.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I think the Raptors can hang with them. And the
And
biggest
we
thing is,
missed some wide open shots.
yo, OG had
OG
like
was
like
like
3 in a
2
row.
10
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
he had so many wide open looks. Yeah, he was 1 of 6 from 3 in this game, and I'll say at least 4 of those misses were
Wide open.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
crucial
Oh, yeah.
points of the game.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, it's a learning curve for him, right? I mean, OG does other stuff that's keys to his game, but yeah, he needs to hit at least 2 or 3 more of those.
So let's see. Another comment. Our team needs a regular season this year more because we need the chemistry. Totally true. Someone says, yo, Shell, they sat out 3 of their best players.
3.
I guess counting
If you're counting
Boogie Cousins in that.
Boogie.
I mean, again, I think they're ducking
Boogie
with
was a
Steph,
stunt.
Yeah.
right? I think they're ducking Boogie
Yeah, they
with
did, like
Steph.
I said, they're ducking like we said. Is because
I
they
also-
know this would be a big game for him. They don't want to. You want to ease him in, right? So you don't want to get him amped up. He's not going to want to come out in a game like this. You think Steph's gonna wanna come out?
I also think as good as Draymond is, that Siakam matchup is not in his
Oh,
favor.
yeah, you're
It's
right.
true.
That
No,
Siakam matchup's
true.
not
That's
in
a
his
good
favor,
point. I wanna
right?
see that.
Great.
So-
it's a great point.
And maybe we'll
So
see
I mean,
that
the
next
only
week.
the only thing I think that they could do is put in on their what do they call their killer lineup
Their
or
depth
whatever,
lineup.
their death lineup, so that he's playing the 5 and
Yeah.
having and going up against Serge.
Yeah.
The way Serge is playing, I think Draymond still gets. Draymond,
No, man, the
Draymond,
Raptors
it's
are
not
real.
it's not a good matchup for Draymond. The Raptors are not a good matchup for Draymond.
No, listen, we got
True.
one of the top
It's
3,
true.
top 5 best players in Kawhi, like you said, with a team that is just it's their year right now for their players that just got like Siakam. It's just a perfect blend.
Danny Green.
Yeah, but Siakam, OG.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
then,
I see what
Like
you're saying.
just
Yeah, yeah.
this is the year for the breakout,
Mhm.
and then you add a player and sorry, Pop, but a leader in what he does. Maybe not vocally, but you know what I mean. It's a perfect blend for the Raps, and you could just see the way. they're
So
playing.
after our show today, it was funny. We had a great conversation after our show today with Tim and Sid, and we're talking about the whole like Kyle Lowry thing, right? And basically the premise
Salty
of it, and
Kyle.
Tim said this. No, but Tim said this. He's like, fans don't, and I totally agree with it. Fans don't care if Kyle Lowry is salty as long as he gets buckets, right?
Sure.
And in the same sense, I don't care if Kawhi Leonard is a leader or not if he gets buckets.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm?
Do
Do you
what
know
you
what I
gotta
mean?
do.
I don't care if he's a leader in the locker room if he is guarding KD and him and KD are going mano a mano like that. I don't need him to give rah speeches in the locker room. That's why we have a coach.
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Like I don't care about any of that. Just get buckets, and as long as I'm entertained, Kyle Lowry can say anything to the media he wants. Now, would I like him to shoot a little bit better? Of course, but you know, at the end of the day, we know he's saying this is just another regular season game, even though it's not.
He knows
just
it's
another.
not.
Yeah, he knows it's not. He's hyped up.
Did
And
he
I
wear
think-
his New Balance shoes?
No, I think he's wearing
No,
Jordans.
I think he's wearing Jordans.
I think they asked him about it in one of the scrums a couple days ago, and he said nothing is finalized yet. Question for you,
Guys,
though.
wait 1 second. Guys, are you guys gonna grab the new?
I was gonna ask you
the
guys.
Kawhi. Oh,
I was gonna
yeah.
definitely ask you that.
Are you guys gonna grab YouTube community? Everybody, you guys gonna grab the new Kawhis if they're nice?
Well, here's
The
how
New
I'm
Balance
phrasing it.
Mall Walker 608.
Mall Walker 600. You gotta be
Mall
40.
Walker, the Mall Walker 608s. Are you grabbing the Mall Walker
Hold
and
on.
have a mullet.
608s?
Hold on, though.
Are you
Here's-
grabbing the Soccer
Is that what
Mom
you're gonna ask?
23s?
No, no,
grabbing
no.
it? Oh.
Here's how I'm gonna ask it though.
Okay.
If it meant that Kawhi Leonard would stay in Toronto,
Oh man,
would
I'll
you
buy
New
5
Balance?
pairs,
I didn't
and I'll
even
put them
finish.
on Kijiji.
I didn't even
I'll line up outside of Foot Locker for those.
Raptors fans, that's a question for you guys in the comments. Let me know.
Let's know.
If it meant
Yeah,
Kawhi
I
Leonard was
honestly, I
staying,
really want to know. Yeah.
are you rocking New Balances?
rocking New
Are you buying
Balances?
the OVO
Oh, look,
edition
Under
New
Armour.
Balance?
The OVO New Balance.
Well, that's
No.
no. Was
It checks
was
over
Under
New
Armour-
Balances.
Was Under Armour how?
Checks over New Balances.
Well, Under
Isn't that
Armour
what
too.
Drake said?
When Steph Curry came in with Under Armour, I know it was big, but I mean, what like then he came out.
No,
with
it
nasty
blew up.
shoes. Yeah,
I don't
because
like
of
Steph's shoes, but
I liked.
I think he was
thought they were
super
nice.
popular for
New
sure.
Balances, maybe.
My
the
son, my, son,
OVO
my,
New Balances.
my son has, I think it's the Curry 3s.
Yeah, the blue
Those-
and yellows.
Those aren't bad.
Yeah.
I don't like the new ones. I don't
Yeah.
like the 5s. But New Balances, though,
Honestly,
I'd have to see them.
if they're under 100, I'll get.
I would have to see. Oh, if they're under 100,
No,
sure,
but
why
I'm
not?
saying if
You're in
it meant-
Walmart.
Need something to wear to the
No,
gym.
no, no,
Yeah.
no, no. But I'm saying if it meant Kawhi Leonard stays, are you going to buy the
Yes,
shoes.
yes,
the New Balance?
How much is
and
it?
yes,
I'm not paying Jordan prices.
yes.
No, that would be.
I want
ignorant.
this to
That's too far.
continue.
That's going too far. That's going too far. Another question for you guys.
Oh,
This-
a man just said support our super store. Buy the man shoes.
Yes.
we the North.
Yes.
We the balances.
The OVO New Balance Small Walker
Oh,
608s.
man.
I'm buying those.
Another question from the Gram. This felt like playoff basketball. Did it?
Of course.
It did. It did have that atmosphere. I
That
get the
overtime,
game went into
yeah.
overtime. Yeah, I think it
And you
did.
could probably ask Durant that,
Mhm.
and I think he'd say the same thing. Yeah.
Do you know what I'll say too? I feel like I've been rough on the Raptors crowd this season. I feel like it's
They were
been
hyped
pretty
tonight.
quiet.
I'm about to check those out. Somebody said the New Balance 574s are fire, so I'm going to have to check those
Stop
out.
that. Stop that. I'm not believing that, man.
Yo, the man said it. The man said
Stop
it, man.
that. I'm gonna need receipts on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
I'ma need
You're gonna have to like send us a screenshot of those
Yeah,
shoes or
guys,
something.
Yo. Should we be worried about Lowry's non-aggressive in pressure situations? He looks scared to shoot late in the fourth there.
No,
I
definitely
agree with
not.
that. He did look like he didn't want to shoot the ball at all.
Like I said, I think he's another guy who needs that extra motivation. I think he started the game. We seen Quinn Cook over there, and he's like, I can take the night off.
They're very.
It's interesting. Yeah.
The five
but if
that
Steph's
go-
there, he's
if
going to
Steph-
go
The
off.
five
Steph's
that
there,
Golden
he's-
State
he's
had
fi-
on
he's
too are
shooting
very. They're all stretch players. They're very long, and it
Yeah.
seemed like
They
every
had
time
Iggy on him late.
it seemed like every time Kyle was trying to take a shot, there's a few arms right in front of him, right? So that might have made him a bit more hesitant.
They had Iguodala on him late, which is
He was a
tough
great
matchup.
defender. Yeah,
he's a
Iguodala's
long,
great defender.
he's taller than him too, which makes it a tougher matchup.
They had a
for
tall
Kyle.
lineup in.
I think too, right? The thing we got to keep reminding ourselves. It's early. You're still laughing at New Balance.
Yo, these
jokes,
guys are
aren't you?
killing. These guys are killing me about the New Balance. This guy said, if they're nice, yes, of course I'll buy them. But they remind me of my granddad's Buick and smell like Old Spice. No, I like that comment.
That's well
That's the
played.
comment of the night.
Well
Oh, the
played.
New
well played, well
Balances.
played. My thing though is with Kyle, right? Late. The thing that we got to remind ourselves is that he is also getting used to playing with Kawhi, right? It took him how many years to get used to playing with DeMar, right? And remember, his goal was, I'm going to make DeMar an all-star. And then I think we talked about this before, I think it went too far the other way where he was too reliant on DeMar, right? And was just kind of like, here, DeMar, you take over. And DeMar wasn't really there yet. I think he knows Kawhi is that guy. So maybe, he's still trying to play off that. But I thought Kyle in the fourth, I thought he was saving something in the tank, and he was going to come get it in the fourth. That's what I thought. And it didn't really
He
happen.
did make
He
that
did at
one.
the
He did
beginning
make
of the
that one. He
overtime.
did make that one shot. He made the steal. Like
Yeah.
he still makes those those clutch shots.
You're right about that. You're right.
Right. He
About
still
that.
makes those clutch plays. But I think also again, like we were talking about the end of the fourth where he had to play off the ball, and I don't think he was used to that. Not bringing up the ball and just running up, kind of playing the two guard spot with the ball going
Yeah, it
in,
was like Kawhi was
in
at
Kawhi's
point.
hands.
Yeah.
Right. This guy leads the league in assists. Like I don't understand.
He'd
I don't
hit
really understand that move, but.
They got
Again,
caught up
but
in the game, just like
experimenting.
Boston, the Kyrie game. They got caught up, and they're trying to do a
This
KD
is the
versus
thing.
Kawhi game.
Again,
and
Kawhi
Nurse has got to
doesn't
get
know the
away from
plays.
that.
Kawhi doesn't know the play, so they don't have sets drawn up where they're going to run a play and get Kawhi the ball.
Well, like
They
let's
just
talk about
give
we
him
haven't
the
even
ball.
talked about the
Right.
last shot of the game.
Yeah, the last shot of the game, you're right.
Right?
So Kawhi gets it top of the key, blows by the defender,
Has a pretty
has
good
an
shot.
angle. Two guys come. One guy
Probably
came to help,
fouled.
and he finds Serge. Serge
Too
doesn't
late.
get
No
the
time
shot
left,
off
yeah.
in time. Goes to OT.
But
Yeah.
was that a play run? Like was that just
But again,
Kawhi do
but
what you
again,
want? Was that
but
ISO?
Kawhi-
but I think it was just
Kawhi.
ISO. But again, I have no problem with the play. But everybody else kind of stood on the perimeter and
Just
watched
watched.
him.
And watched.
Right.
You're right.
If that same play, if instead of
No one
Serge
boxed out to get a possible
right, you're only
rebound,
it's
yeah.
a tie game. You're not down two.
Yes.
So if at that point, if Serge cuts to the basket to go up
To get
even
a
for
rebound or
even
a
for a
tip in,
rebound, and Kawhi makes that pass, that's a dunk. Game over.
Yeah.
Walk off the court. We win.
1,000%.
Right?
1,000%. It's so true. And that's the thing. These guys all got to get used to playing with each other. Kyle is still trying to figure out, okay, well, how do I work? How do I play off with Kawhi? How, what's Kawhi's moves? What are his tells when he's
Right.
driving? Is he able to pass it, while driving right? Can he come back to his, like those little things?
Yeah.
Kyle still needs to get used to that, and we're not there yet. So am I worried about Kyle not being aggressive? No, because I think he's still feeling out how to play with Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
That's
And
my
I
thought.
think people got to remember, like, I mean, you were saying, like, yes, the Raptors, what are they, 18-4, 19-4 now, so they're winning, but winning on just talent over the Orlandos and the Memphises and teams like that, you're gonna do that just off talent alone, right?
Those are
When-
good games to win though too.
right? But
Yeah.
now when you're playing against like
Golden
those
States.
things where the chemistry's not really there yet, they're gonna be more noticeable when you're playing the good teams like the Golden States.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, definitely. Another comment here: Raps are a matchup problem for any team. Totally agree. That's what
Yeah.
you were saying, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Siakam, you can't. Who are you
Siakam's
putting
just-
on him?
he
He's
runs
quick,
the ball
quicker
like
than
a guard.
He's
got
quicker. Yeah, he's
spin
quicker than
move.
any 4 you're gonna put on him.
He's aggressive.
This is funny, and I think this sums up the fan base. I'm going to read back to back here. The first person says, "We are happy that they won, but are we happy about the way they won?" Next comment right after, "I don't give a shit what anyone says we won."
Yeah,
That sums things up perfectly,
Yeah.
right? It's so cool. There's so many comments here. I'm trying to catch up. They might need a Raptors death lineup with Siakam at the 5, OG, Danny Green, Kawhi, DeLon Wright. I wonder if that's the bench.
That was what you were saying.
Is that the
almost
bench?
Minus the DeLon.
Oh yeah, we were talking
Remember-
about that from early on
Yeah,
in the
from early
year.
in the
Yeah,
season.
yeah. The death line.
Danny
the
Green's been
Raptors' own
solid
death
though.
line.
Danny Green's been solid because I think that's what
You
you
said
wanted.
this okay. You said this a while ago, right? You were talking about almost as if the Raptors traded
Yes.
Danny Green for
And I said it was a
DeMar
hot,
DeRozan.
hot take. Yeah, but
No,
yeah.
no, but like the point remains, right? That
If it could have
Let's say
been a
it was a
different point and it
salary
was a
dump.
salary dump, and you got Danny Green and a pick for DeMar for a change, whatever. Yes, exactly. That's what I was talking about.
yeah.
Well, but
And then
he's
throw
played.
in Kawhi, and
He's
it's
played
like,
up to standards, and yeah, it sounds silly, but that's
Danny
how
Green is
crucial
great.
Danny Green was,
People forget.
especially to make Kawhi comfortable.
The thing too, people forget basketball is a two-way game.
Yeah.
Right? And like we forget that, and especially when teams are scoring all these points, we forget about that, and it's easy to forget. But you mentioned it about Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry was struggling shooting, but late in that game, when he picks off Iguodala, just like picks his pocket at half court and gets the ball back, like that's a massive, massive play. That's just as big as him hitting a jump shot, right?
Definitely.
Kawhi had like 2 picks on KD, like that. Just changes the game in a different way that we never saw from the old Raptors. And now, again, I keep pointing out, to me, the biggest thing about this Raptors team and what makes them a matchup problem for everybody, any team in the league, yes, even Golden State at their full lineup, is that these guys all can affect the game in different ways. So if Kyle's shot's not going, he's still playing defense. He's still taking charges. He still got, I think he got 12 assists in this game, or he got over double digits for sure, right?
He almost had triple double, yeah.
So
And a big steal at the end
Right?
too on Iguodala.
you're right. 8 rebounds, 12 assists, 3 steals
Huge
for Kyle Lowry.
steal.
That to me is what makes the Raptors a matchup problem for everybody, because all their guys that play minutes, minus CJ, right,
Can do multiple
can
things.
do multiple things, and that's so big. When DeRozan, and I'm not slandering DeRozan. I promise you, I'm not. DeRozan is a big time scorer, but if he's not scoring, there's nothing for him to do, right?
Yeah.
So that to me is a big difference. But anyways, I was concerned about the bench. We talked about that, right? So true. This team hasn't even had time to get to gel yet, and they're winning games. Someone else
There's
says
a lot of CJ comments coming up.
the bench is trash. I'm not giving CJ Miles any more chances. CJ sucks for real. Nice guy, but
Yeah. When Powell comes back, CJ will
CJ
get
definitely
less
have-
minutes. And
have the
honestly,
GoDaddy
CJ's
curse.
the guy at the trade deadline that will probably be involved in a package.
CJ definitely has a GoDaddy curse. And
Yeah.
was he you talking? No, it was Q. You brought up during the game how the last 2 they've not had CJ play fourth quarter minutes. Instead of going back to CJ with the bench unit in the second time the bench gets to go around,
Yeah.
right? The third and fourth quarter, they've shortened the bench and gone back to either Kawhi or Danny Green getting extended minutes
Right.
instead of going back to CJ. And CJ's struggling. And you know what? To me, if we're worried about the 10th guy on the bench or the 9th
good
guy on the bench,
Problem to have.
as like
maybe
the biggest
maybe
problem,
11th guy when Norm comes back.
And,
Who
and,
knows?
and
sure.
we
Right.
said this. We all know, if you really don't, you know the answer. Why he's Danny Green took his spot.
for sure.
Danny Green is what CJ Miles was last year, and he feels pressured to keep up to him, and he's not going to keep up to Danny Green because he's not as good as Danny Green. And so it's affecting his mind, and it's affecting his shot. And
I think the bench misses Siakam.
For sure. Well, we talked
Yeah,
about that
right.
a couple
Like, you
of
take-
podcasts.
you
See,
can't
like-
take him out of this.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not saying
He needs
you do,
25 minutes a game.
but I think you replaced, you kind of switched Siakam
You put OG in the starting.
and
Put
Valanciunas
OG.
or Valanciunas.
Yeah,
right?
but you don't want.
Oh yeah.
But then
because
you wouldn't have-
Valanciunas and
No,
Serge
I'm
is-
not saying switch it now. I'm just saying that's effectively
happened
what
last
happened, right?
Yeah.
So it's right. You kind of have to now. You have to slow down the game a little bit more. now,
Yeah.
right.
the second
CJ's a
last
year
season.
older. Now
Yeah.
you have Valanciunas clogging his way up and down the court.
Yeah.
So DeLon and Van Fleet now have to slow it down a little bit more.
Van Fleet's been playing better.
make
right?
JV,
Maybe
or
not
whereas
this
JV
game, but-
effective.
Whereas before, Van Fleet could just come down, take a three from anywhere on the court. Siakam's coming in, running in
Grab that rebound.
for that rebound.
Yeah, so this was the thing too, because we were talking about it for a while, and then Nick Nurse backed up what we were saying on this podcast about how if you notice a subtle change, right, early in the first quarter, they'll sub out Siakam, right, and put him on the bench so that when the bench mob comes back, he comes back in with
the
them.
bench for the last couple
he's-
minutes.
Yeah, he's starting and also getting those bench mob minutes, because you're right. With him in that lineup with DeLon and Fred, that's ball movement between those three guys.
And they're just running. They're just running. Just
And-
legs.
Exactly. And to further that point even more, right? We're talking about the struggles that the bench has and the Raptors in terms of the Raptors giving up leads. I think what's happening so far is the bench mob is running the offense, right? I keep talking about the ball screens and then the dribble handoffs and all that stuff, right? They're running the offense, running the plays. In the second half, when the bench mob kind of stalls, you're having the bench mob on with a couple of the other starters, whether it's Danny Green or Kawhi, who might not be used to actually running that offense.
Right.
Because you got to remember, a lot of the success with the starters is Kyle making plays, getting in the lane, finding these guys. The bench mob, Freddie and DeLon, they're more going to run the offense, run the plays. And if you're Kawhi and you're not running up top to set the screen or to run around the screen, like, it doesn't really work. And now things break down. Freddie and DeLon are scrambling to make a play. Shouts to DeLon, who hit 2 massive threes at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But overall, the bench really struggled in this game. But if that's the biggest problem that we're having with this team,
Yeah.
And we still win.
and you still
And
win
you still win.
in OT, you
Against Golden
survive
State.
51 from
51.
KD.
131 to 128. Our Raptors win.
Big Raptors win, of course. There are so many comments here. Should I read more comments? There's so many comments, right? I got to show some love to these people. Raptors are clearly better team. Durant went off, and that's what made it a game. I mean, they're clearly a better team without Steph and Draymond.
Yeah.
With Steph and Draymond and Boogie, they're in the same league,
a
and
good
I'm
matchup.
here to watch that series.
Definitely.
Because that's a series. It's not like Golden State's winning in 5.
No.
That's a series, right? Would we all agree with that?
Definitely. It
Yeah.
better be.
Yeah, and there's the thing called the trade deadline too. Like, who knows who else we're gonna add, right? So
I don't
I don't
want
want them
to.
to make a trade.
I don't
But
know.
I'm just saying, no, but a
know, I-
small little piece.
No, I understand, but
I don't want them to make a trade. I like the team where it's at. I like the rotation. I like the fact that because the other problem too, right? The bench mob doesn't have to be a thing. We can just have Kawhi play more minutes. We can have Danny Green play more
and
minutes.
Kawhi will
We can
play
have
more
Siakam
minutes.
play more minutes, and then we don't ever see CJ ever, right?
Right.
Or we don't ever see, or you see less DeLon, or if OG's shooting poorly, okay, OG, your time's up tonight. We're going back to Danny Green.
Yeah.
So I don't really, to me personally, I don't need a
No, I
trade.
agree.
I don't want to trade,
Yeah.
but I know what you're saying though.
There is still that, yeah. Who
Let me
knows?
ask you this though: the rumors about
Anthony Davis.
Bradley. No, I was going to say
Oh.
Bradley Beal being available.
Yeah, but because then you're gonna have to give up OG or Siakam, guaranteed. And I just feel that if
Siakam's not going anywhere.
Siakam's not
Kawhi
going anywhere, no.
Not a
leaves,
chance.
You're not trading Siakam.
that's your future. Yeah. Do we know what's the contract for Beal? Is it 2 years? What does he
Yeah, I
have
think
left?
it's like 2 or 3 years. I think he makes like
the-
25.
listen, the way
or a
I
little less than
make that
25.
move, you're right. Siakam's not going nowhere. It's gonna probably be like DeLon, right, and OG. But if the way I make that
Surge
move
to make a
is
contract
is
match.
no, yeah, or of JV is if Kawhi is okay with the move and says I like
Oh,
like
and
this
I'm gonna
move."
stay. Yeah.
No,
I
not
know
even
what
I'm
you're
gonna
saying.
stay, but like
No.
this
I
is
need him to say
something-
I'm gonna
yeah.
stay.
No, but this is something that I feel
I know what you're saying, though. I
is
know
a
what you're
right
saying.
move for the team, whether I'm staying or not. Like I
I know what you're
approve
saying.
this move, right?
Yeah.
If he's something like, why are you messing up the chemistry? Like, are you trying to buy me? Like, you know what I mean? Then I would be a little hesitant on that. But
Yeah.
but besides that, you're right. I think that we are a good team. I would just add maybe one little small veteran piece. That's all I would do.
Yeah, no, for sure. Someone says CJ can go though. Can we get Mute? I think that's what that's supposed to say.
Well,
I'm guessing that's what that says. This team is perfect as is. I kind of agree with that. Raptors will be much better when they learn to close, for sure. As we
Yeah.
talked about, you got to learn how to play with
Yeah.
all these guys late, right? And we're seeing that. Kawhi is still, if it's gonna be Kawhi just make a play, he's got to get used to that, right? You could see tonight that he was like, I'm not going to force up a shot. I'm going to try to kick it out. The rest of the guys weren't expecting that, right? So it's going to take time to sort that out. Overall, though, in closing, what a game. For something that was billed as just another regular season game,
It was more
I'll
than
take that.
Yeah.
That was more than a regular. That was
Definitely.
hype. That was hype. The hype machine will be fully out, and I'm here for it. And I know I'm not going to go down this lane too much, but with Matthews back last night too, and then in back-to-back nights you have this game.
Yeah.
What a time to
Toronto.
be alive, man.
Yeah, this
What a
is a
time to
good
be
time.
alive. That's all I'm saying.
Just wait for Willie this time.
That's going to happen.
And
Not
that
worried.
happens by Saturday.
Much like with Kawhi, though, bro, if you don't want to play, cool, we good, right? So, hey, what a time to be alive in Toronto. Shouts to Babcock, who was actually courtside at this
with
game
Tannenbaum.
too. Yeah, shouts to Babcock. He had his Raptors hoodie on. I respect it. I
Babsock.
like that. I like that. Sorry, more comments I just find are good. Sorry, guys. I know we're going a little long here, but I like to give love to the people for riding with us and joining us on this
It's a
post-game
big game.
show.
We knew this was going to be like this. So
It's a massive game. The people are here to show and out, so I'm going to read these comments. For years, the Raptors needed an actual 3-and-D guy. Now we have two of the best in the league.
True.
Yo, we were talking about this earlier because yesterday we were talking about enjoying this season, and a dude at my work said, yo, man, honestly, I was cheering for the Raptors, and I thought Michael Petrus was a big deal and was going to make a difference. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Like, I tried to talk myself into Michael Petrus.
Yeah.
I tried to talk myself into Hito Turkoglu.
He had big years
right?
in Orlando.
Try to talk myself into Turkoglu. Try to talk myself into who is the next dude? This is going way back, but there's a dude that used to play on Dallas. What was his name? And then we got him, but like he was already washed. I can't remember his name right now off the top of my head. But think about all the guys: the Joey Grahams, the Jamario Moons, all these guys that you're just like, oh man. And then we had to go to Europe to get Anthony Parker, and then Garbajosa gave us some minutes before he got hurt. And it's just all these guys for so long, and then obviously more recently,
T-Ross,
Damari Carroll, right? CJ Miles, as you said, when they made the trade for CJ Miles, it was, he might start or come off the bench. We don't know what's going to happen. Now he's like the 10th man,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's crazy to think what a difference a year makes, and to go back to where the Raptors were after LeBronto. They fire the coach of the year. They trade the face of the franchise. And now they just beat the Golden State Warriors at home in overtime.
19-4. 19-4. Best in the
surviving Kevin Durant's 51 points. 19-4, as you just said. Still tops in the entire NBA. They've won, 7 in a row.
Yep.
What a time to be alive, indeed. I'm speechless.
You got Retro Boomin saying that Kawhi is about to pull a LeBron and bring Masai a grocery list of players that he wants to play with.
Cool.
That'd
I'm
be
fine
cool.
with that. Whatever you want, Kawhi.
Yeah. Look at this. Look. We did this with Vince, right? We didn't want Vince making decisions. Vince sulked, and you know how that story went.
I got more issues
Right.
with Vince in that, but okay.
Right? We did that. Remember, Bosch wanted Aldridge, and we drafted Bargnani, and then Bosch left. So we've done this, right? Whoever Kawhi wants, Kawhi gets.
Hey, man, those were all done before Masai was here, so
Okay.
I believe in Masai. Yes, Raptors fans, thank you for joining us for sure. This was a great thing. This Instagram live that's going on right now is about to end. I see the countdown clock there going, but the podcast obviously continues. And as always, thank you for joining us live. Instagram, this cuts out in the middle of what I'm saying.
Thank you,
We
Instagram.
appreciate you for joining at Sheldon Alexander.
Most
That's how you get comments into the show. We try to react and interact with all Raptors fans because, again, we're creating a platform with the motive behind this is create a platform where Raptors fans can congregate after massive games like this and talk
Definitely.
and have fun with each other discussing the best team in the NBA.
Right.
Because the best team in the NBA is in the 6 in Toronto. Let's enjoy this, right? So, shout out to the people on Instagram. Shout out to the people that are on Twitter following the show as always. But guys, thank you for joining me for this big game because it's a lot more fun to watch with the squad in person, enjoying,
I have to be here for this
high-fiving,
game.
yelling at the TV.
It's a good game.
Right? Great game. Mikey, let the people know where they can find you to get your comments in between,
Yeah, just follow me. Hit me up on Instagram. Mike Bello _6. Mike Bello _6. Hit me up.
Q, what's going on, man?
Good, man. It's a good game to come watch. I had to make sure I was here for this one. You want to check me out, obviously, at DDS Caps on all social media, DDS.com.
Yo, can I get a
Check
hoodie,
out.
man?
We got you.
DDS.
We got you. Personally, you want to hit me up. Dude, I want to see those New Balance 574s.
Yes. Let us
Hit me
know.
up at
Will
Simply.
you rock the New Balance? Let us know, YouTube community.
Yeah, my personal Instagram, simply_just_Q. We're working on shortening that, but, hit me up.
Hey, I like it. And of course, my name is Sheldon Alexander. You can find me, of course, if you're watching this live, at Shell Alexander on Twitter and on Instagram at Sheldon Alexander. Of course, shout to the people that listen and join in live and ask questions. As always, our goal is to interact with you, the people, because this is your show, Raptors fans. Because just like us, you're watching the show, and we want to include you in the conversation afterwards. But if you can't join us live, that's cool. This gets flipped, becomes a podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just search On Blast Podcast. You get the podcast there. And of course, YouTube. Shout out to the people on YouTube commenting, continuing this conversation. I feel like the comments keep going all the way until the next game starts.
Yeah.
So
even a couple games after.
Yeah, so it's a great place for a conversation for Raptors fans to congregate and talk about, again, the best team in the league. So we appreciate you. We see the comments. I'll try to get to all of them, but there's so many building. But I do appreciate it a lot, and I do see them, good or bad. Whether you agree or disagree with us, that's all good. Because, again, we're here to have a conversation about the team, and we're just like you guys, watching the game, having fun, enjoying the best team in the league. So thank you again for joining us on the Wrap It Up on Blast Raps postgame show. As always, my name is Sean Alexander. Like I always say, I used to pray for times like this to rhyme like this. I hear Meek has a new album, actually. I got to check that out.
With
It's trending
Hov.
today, right? Champions.
Holds on it. Hov, Drake. Someone
I
else.
saw that. Future. Yeah, I saw that. I got to check that out. But I really did used to pray for times like this to rhyme like this. This is the Wrap It Up on Blast Raps post-game show. As always, unpolished and unapologetic. Until next time, see ya.
Raptors win.
Peace.
On blast.